Hello, folks. Hello. Good to see you all. I was absent last week. I didn't record anything, and I've been doing a lot of thinking about our podcast, in light of what's going on in the economy, in the world, in everything that's going on. I look around me, I see, quite a bit of financial stress. People lost jobs, people using their savings up, people exhausting their credit limits. And I have a lot of empathy for them. I understand all that. I grew up poor. I struggled for a long time. I appreciate the level of prosperity that I've been able to experience, but I realize that a lot of you are really struggling. I was planning basically to get into planning from the seminar and talk about classical retirement planning. And then it dawned on me that really that what we need to talk about mostly is planning for now. How do we get from where we are to 5 years from now or whatever? Now that varies, of course, based on your age. If you're getting ready for retirement, then you really have to plan for retirement. But some of the basic rules about living and planning persist, and they need to be looked at today. We need to look at, our present responsibilities, our present expenses, our present income, and we need to plan for changes. I keep getting reminded of this when I see people, even people that are very successful, losing their positions. And those kinds of examples, bring home to me the lessons that are necessary to implement as we live and in planning for the unexpected. In the market, we always talked about the black swan. The black swan is the unexpected that happens, just like COVID was a black swan. And before that, in '08 and so forth, the banking crisis, that was a black swan. Those were things that nobody expected. You can go back to before that, talk about the NASDAQ collapse, talk about various things, talk about the collapse in '87 and so forth. But really and truly, there's some very basic rules that benefit us, if we pay attention to them. And what you need to do, and what I needed to do, and what I need to continue to do, are to build the habits that really you could say that are prudent habits of prudent behavior when it comes to money, so that I can enjoy and not, be worrying about a lot of these things on a constant basis. So, the old issues, I've written some of them basically down. Saving, of course, is always number one. Saving isn't just saving money and put it in the bank. Saving is the things we do every day that save money. And we went through a long list of those back a few months ago. I'm not going to repeat all those things, but those are things that we really need to get into. Now, I've made some lists of things that apply more to retirement to some extent, like saving taxes. We specialize in putting together, plans for people to live and to retire, We don't charge anybody for the plans. We feel like it's a service that we need to render. It's giving back to our community and helping other people to achieve a degree of prosperity and of financial safety and security. And many people today, I talk to a lot of folks that tell me that many people in their family are living on credit cards. This is very sad. When I drive past the community center in Reisterstown on the weekends, on Saturday particularly, I see a lot of cars lined up and they're getting food and so forth. This is very concerning. We are still in a condition, of recession, and deny it, some do, but it's going to get worse in all probability. If you listen to the money shows, they're always debating this issue. There's people with different opinions and so on. While they got the different opinions, go to the grocery store, go to the gas station. We know we have a serious inflation. We can't buy the things we used to in the grocery store and pay a reasonable price. Look at the price of eggs. Look at the price of meat, poultry, fish, things like that, things that are essential. Look at those things and you'll begin to see, you don't have to, you know it already. Okay. So we have to learn to save. There's all kinds of things we can do regarding those things. And we spent a whole show talking about that months ago. Okay. Now, looking forward at what needs to be done, we need, obviously, I made this list for retirement. If you come to me and we're talking about putting a plan together, I'm going to help you put a plan together where you will have an income for life. Okay? An income for life. And you can save tax money as we move along. That doesn't apply to everything. If you have savings that you put into mutual funds, you're going to pay taxes every year. If you work with me and we put things together for retirement, you're not going to pay taxes until you start to use the money. That's very, very important. You're saving taxes, you're deferring taxes, and you're only going to pay taxes when you start taking the income, and probably that's in retirement, and probably your overall income has gone down. But you let that money grow because it's not paying taxes all those years. So that money, that nest egg is growing. And today you can get a bonus. You put a nest egg into a product like we deal with, and you can get like a 25% bonus on that money. That means you're going to get 25% more income. If you're about to retire, we can get that income for you right away. There's no wait. Put the money in, get the bonus, start the income. So that's there. And we can preserve our money. Any way we can preserve it is worth looking at. Okay? If it works, it works. Another list of additional items. Well, we said already, grow the money and then use it later, unless you need it right now, and we can do that also. Lifetime income. And increasing your nest egg if you're not going to, as I said, if you're not going to use it now, we can get you bonuses and help with all that sort of thing. We can get you emergency money in those same products. So let's say hypothetically you're going along, you're not going to retire for another 3 or 4 or 5 years. The money's growing, but all of a sudden you need some money. You can get some money and not have to pay any particular extra money for it. You won't pay a penalty. You can get a penalty-free withdrawal. And, of course, you're going to pay tax on that money because that's income, but you can get that. That's very important to know. So you're not tying up all your money in where you can't get money. And incidentally, I always tell people when we invest with us, you're putting money into a private pension. Don't put it all there. You've got to keep money that's totally liquid that you can get today, if you need it today. Okay, it's there. You want to do that. And along those lines, learn to use a money market account, because money market accounts, money market checking accounts, pay a higher interest rate than a regular checking account pays. They pay next to nothing anyway. But you can get up to close to 5% on a good money market account. If you want a reference on a bank, you call me. I will tell you. Remember my number. It's Mike Neumeier, Game Plan for Retirement, at 410-902-0464, 410-902-0464. Write that number down, keep that number, and don't be afraid to call us. We'll help you in any way we can. And we're not going to charge you for any ideas we give you. And if you come in and do some planning with me, I don't charge for planning. I have people arrive and they have a checkbook and say, what do I owe you? You don't owe me anything for planning, and there is no obligation. There's no obligation. Says you have to work with me. We get the planning done. I show you the possibilities. You make your decisions. Okay. There's some things going on now that really concern me. There's buy now, interest free for a while, and pay later. And then, of course, you will pay interest. You will pay. There's no free lunches. And people are tempted to buy things that are discretionary. There's people buying, instead of delaying big purchases. So I tell people, delay the big buys. Delay them. And incidentally, the costs can go down because demand is going down because people don't have money. When demand goes down, what happens is prices go down. You even see Tesla cutting prices because they want to get the volume out there. And that's what happens. So delay big buys as long as you can, and avoid these hot deals that they're telling you until you carefully inspect them. If you're going to buy a car if you're going to buy a car, for instance, you know you're going to negotiate. Determine what that price should be and what you want to pay out the door totally. Don't wait for them to give you a whole bunch of additional costs and so forth. I've been through that. And I've told them, I want an out the door cost. You tell me what the out the door cost is, and I'll determine whether I want it. And then I can negotiate from that point. But don't negotiate on just a price and then have them add on all kinds of additional charges. You want to know what the out the door cost is. And if you're doing a trade-in, you want to know what the out the door benefit is going to be to you. If you're ending a lease, you want to know what costs they're going to make you pay as you leave that. Okay? They may suddenly say, well, you're going to have to pass the inspection, and here's a tiny crack in your windshield, and you can have that done, and we can do it for you. Of course, they don't tell you if you do it for them, it may cost you a lot more money. But it has to be inspected if you're returning a car on a lease. So there's just a lot of things to be aware of. You want to save money wherever you can. In everyday purchases, delay the big buys, and review your regular costs. Just take a few examples. What is your insurance costing you in every kind of insurance? Have you checked on the current cost of competitors in that same field? Can you save money? I'm not talking about $50 a year. Can you save a substantial amount of money by making a change? Don't make a change if you can't save money. If you can't get better service and save money, you don't want to do that. And you want to work with companies that are responsive. I had a lady here a couple of weeks ago who said she's called her bank continuously and nobody answers the phone. That's scary. That's scary. You want to work with companies that are responsive. You want to work with companies that have good customer service, where the people can answer the questions. Otherwise, you may be dealing with poor information, and it may cost you a lot of money. So there's things like that. The nuances of daily living and daily communication are very important. I call centers where the people don't even understand what I'm saying, and I don't understand what they're saying. That's not a good situation. I don't stay in that situation very long. I find competitors that I can deal with on a regular basis. And I don't pay anything online. If I want to buy something online, I get the contact telephone, and that's how I order things. I don't trust buying things online with all of the things that are going on with hacking, et cetera, et cetera. I listen to the advice of people saying, if your phone call comes in and you don't recognize it, delete it, block it. Don't respond to it. It's too easy to be scammed today. So money market, I mentioned that already. Checking your continuous costs like insurance and other things, things that you're paying for all the time. Easy things, simple things, like for instance, pest control. Have you checked your costs on pest control? Have you considered, alternatives, other companies and so forth? Have you done those things? Most people just take those things for granted. Have you checked your cell phone costs? Same service, different price. Look at those. Look at reputable companies. Check them out. You can check them out today. It's so easy online to check out companies and so forth. Okay. And one of the things that that I tell people all the time, you've got to accumulate emergency money. Interestingly enough, with all these cashback cards we use today, and that allow you to get money back, I tell people, why don't you let that just accumulate? Worst case, you're using it just for Christmas money. But you can accumulate that money as discretionary emergency money. Just let it accumulate. It's there. It's there. Not a bad idea. Very simple. You can do it. Look for the cards that pay the most cash back. I've been looking for a while. I found some that pay 2% on everything. Not a bad deal. Okay. And then this is a little harder to do. And it doesn't work for everybody. But I've encouraged people that it has worked for to create and join an influence circle of people where they share different experiences that they've had in saving money. Now, it's not going to work for a lot of folks that don't want to share any of their information. But if you can find a circle of people that you really trust, it may be not more than 2 or 3 people. It may be family members, it may not be family members. But these are people you trust, and their experience is going to be different than yours, and you can help each other. That is the final idea I want to give you today. We've got to plan, and we can learn from other people on ideas and concepts that they've come up with along the line. They're going to get something from us too. We're going to help give them ideas. So plan, plan, plan. And if you want some professional help, I've been doing plans for 25 years.